Hey y'all, it's Mary and welcome. This is Mary Catherine Loves Cats, and this is part 3 of questions that y'all had asked me on Mass Monday of last week. And I just broke up the filming so that it wasn't a super long video. Okay, these are questions about my work and my life. So Lisa from Banning, Panning, and Beyond, and anybody that has a channel I'll put below in the description so you can find them, asked, I'm curious what your actual job is. And Jen Button asked, what is your occupation? And Stacy Natanoki asked, what kind of work do you do or have you done? Okay, so I am an accounting manager for a small business, and I also manage the service department, and that is my full-time job, and Monday through Friday, full-time job. I work more than 40 hours. It's a lot of hours. And then on Saturdays, I used to work 5 Saturdays and off 1, but now I work like 2 on, 2 off, or sometimes it changes a little bit, but I work at a veterinary clinic. I did originally, when I first moved here, I had a different job or two, but I started working at the veterinary hospital full time. And that was just because I needed a job, and they took me. A lot of people, if they don't know you around here, they won't employ you. So after I was at the veterinary clinic for about 9 months or so, I got a call from when I had put in like 100 resumes around town, asking about the accounting job, which is what I do. So I took that job, and I stayed with the vet clinic because I just love the people there. They're like a family to me, and they just are so good to my animals, and I get a discount, which is very helpful, especially with some senior pets. So that is what I do. I have done many things in my life. Let me think about it. Not really many. I mean, I've had a lot of jobs, over the years, but mostly what I've done is accounting, bookkeeping, management. I have worked in a commercial kitchen for a while, and I really enjoyed that. That's where I learned how to cook and to bake. And that was just some fun after I was working very hard and doing accounting, and just had to change things up a little bit, and I went and did that, and then I went back to accounting. And okay, so next thing is Melinda Cooper, who's a subscriber, Jen Button, and Stacy Natanoki are subscribers. Melinda Cooper, who's a subscriber, these are all wonderful subscribers of mine. It says, I think you are single now, but were you married? And do you have children? And Ashley Noneya, she has a channel, asks, do you have kids? And I do not have any children. I have always wanted to have children. I love children. Children really like me. They're like pets. Children and pets come to me wherever I'm at. I just never met the right person to have children with. I was a late starter, a late bloomer in life as far as getting married. I got married very late in life. I was in a relationship in my 20s, and I was crazy madly in love, and got really burned very badly by the guy, and it really threw me off of ever wanting to be in a relationship. So I just didn't. And I dated a few different people here and there, but I just didn't want to. It's a long, complicated story. But anyway, then I got married when I was 40. Which is why I'm in Alabama. I moved here. I came here on a visit with some friends, and we visited their family, and one of their family members, their cousin, is who I married. And so I moved here, and we were together about 4 years or so, and it didn't work out, and so I am divorced. I've only been married once. I don't want to. If the right person came along, I would get married again, but I never meet the right person. I always meet the wrong person, and I'm good at picking the wrong person, so I'd rather not even bother, is how I feel about it. Although I love men, but, and I would love, everyone's dream is to have that relationship that you know, grow old with. And I would love that. And but I don't have that. And, you know, I don't know. And I don't have children, and I wish I did. Yes, I wish I did. I love kids. But like I said, I didn't get married till I was 40. We just, you know, didn't think at that age that it would be good to have children. And honestly, then it's better that I didn't because of being divorced. You know, anyway, I don't have any kids. I have fur babies, and I have some nieces and a nephew that I really adore. So, and then Kimmy's Boxes asked, how old were you when you had your first kiss/boyfriend? And I had to really think about that because I had some very awkward teenage years, and I was set up. Two of my best friends had long-term boyfriends that they actually married, and I believe are still married too. Been a long time since I've talked with them. Every now and again I see them on Facebook. But I was set up by them with a guy that was very ugly to me. He came to my house and picked me up, and he was very ugly to me. And we went back to one of the friends' house, so there were the three couples, and he just was extremely rude, and that really tore me down and made me feel unworthy and unattractive and you know, icky. So I was horribly shy about dating. I'm not a shy person, and I wasn't a shy person at that time to make friends, but not to for a boyfriend. I wasn't good at that, and that guy just really was horrible. And then I did probably my first kiss. I think I was 17. I remember two kisses from two different guys. One was a guy that I was crazy. It was my brother's best friend, and I was crazy about him. And you know, I wanted to. You know, when you're young, I want to get married and all that. But he and I was best friends with his sister. He never would look my way. He was super cute. And then a couple years later, he had gone off to the service. I think it was in the Air Force. And when he came back to visit, and he had a wife, and she was pregnant. And he came to my house that I lived in with my parents, and my brother still lived there. He came and visited us. And then I went outside for a second, and he came outside, and he gave me this really passionate kiss. And I was like, isn't this a little bit too late? Because he was married, pregnant. That's the kind of men I attract. That's what I'm saying, is I'd rather not have it. I was maybe 18 or 19 at that time, because he was a couple years older than me. And then but my first kiss, I believe I was maybe I was 16 or 17. And again, someone I was madly in love with. You know how that is when you know. And then that didn't turn out too good either, because he was a philanderer also. Okay, so let's move on. Whoops, I'm shaking the table. Beauty Inside and Out, which is Sherrie, she asked, what church do you go to? And she said, is it Assembly of God or something? And I was raised Catholic. I'm a Christian. That's the way I look at myself, and that's what I call myself, is I'm Christian. I don't call myself a denomination. The church that I go to now was, when it first was being built, on my way home, I would see it. And it didn't describe itself from what I heard about it and everything. And when I started going there, it didn't say what it was. But it ended up being, after I was there a little while, they said they were Baptists. And the sign then went up that said it was a Baptist church. And I am in the North. We think Baptist people are all these, praise God, all this kind of stuff, which we used to think people like that were sort of crazy. But you see a lot of that on TV and whatever. And I don't know, it's just, I guess maybe we're more reserved in the North, and Catholics don't do that. But I had started having trouble with the Catholic faith in my late teens, and I just didn't like all the rules and everything. But I do love the sanctuary of the church, and I do sometimes visit the church. When I'm in Chicago, I'll go to church with my mom and dad if he can go, and I do sometimes go. There's a beautiful monastery here that I visit, and the Catholic churches here, the couple that are here are beautiful, and I will go visit them from time to time. But my church is called a Baptist church, and I'm glad it didn't say it was Baptist, because I may not have ever gone to it. And it's a modern Baptist, and it's very loving and kind, and they're wonderful people. And I might not have ever stepped in there if it had a label on it. But I don't know what Assembly of God is. I know that I see there's a million churches here. Here in the South, there are churches and there are banks, and there's a million of them. I see Assembly of God, but I'm not sure what it is. There's all kinds of denominations, I know that. But I believe Assembly of God is Christian. But anyway, that's the answer to that. And then this one now, y'all. You can cut out now because this is really embarrassing. Elvia Ramirez is one of my subscribers, and y'all may know her because she subscribes to a lot of people. She is super lovely and super kind and super nice. And she said, I don't like to answer questions about myself. If you can tell, this hasn't been easy for me to do. But I try to be as honest as I can with y'all. She said to me, well, let me do this before we do that. Is there anybody that still wants a snail mask? I have a couple of these. I have a few. And if you would like one, say mask. I know it's just the same old word, but M-A-S-K. In here, this will be a hidden giveaway, so don't just say the word mask. Say it in a sentence, please. And I have two that I will give away. One, I'll pick two people for this. So snail mask. This is a really nice one. Some people are afraid of it because they think it's just like goop from the snail. But of course they manufacture it. So I mean, clean it and all that. It's just good for our skin. So mask, M-A-S-K. And then 5 days out from now, I will draw a winner. Okay, now back to Elvia Ramirez's question. She says, my question for you is, how did you come to be such a beautiful and lovely person? You are so kind and just so amazing, such a true beauty. Now, normally, I would just, if somebody says something like that to me, I just thank them and tell them that it's a lovely thing to say and they're so kind, and that is the way I feel. I'm going to answer this question as best as I can. I don't want to seem like I am, some snooty person and think that I'm fabulous, because I don't. It took me a long time. I am old, y'all. I am going to be 60 this year, and I've had a lot of life experience, and I have learned in life. I remember being a kid and being very negative, and that the glass is half empty instead of the glass is half full kind of a person. And I had to really, but I learned early. I remember being like 10 or 11, 12 years old and thinking, I have got to stop being so negative. I have got to start looking at the positive. Because it really brings you down if you're negative. And many times in my life, I have been terribly negative. And I tend to be paranoid and think, is that person looking at me? Like that kind of stuff. Are they being ugly? That kind of thing. So, or that person says something hateful to me or whatever. And so now I try to, if somebody says something that is not nice to me, I try to look at it from their point of view before I get upset. I try to step back and listen and think. And I know, everybody has stuff going on in their life. We all do. We all have negativity. We all have positive things we can look at. I just was listening to somebody yesterday, their video, and somebody that's bright and cheery all the time, and then they mentioned that they had lost a child, and I didn't know that about them. And I'm like, how do you go on? You have to move on and go forward. And for me, I always try to look at the positive, and I count my blessings. I tell you all that at the end of every video because it's so important to me. I have to do it or I will be dragged down and in the bed and under the covers and depressed. So I do. Every night before I go to bed, I count my blessings. And I mean, even the simplest things. If you, first of all, when I walk outside and I see this beautiful spring that is happening all around me, the greenery and the flowers, and I'm just amazed by it. And then at night here where I live, it's not a big city, so I take Buddy out and I look at the sky and I see the stars and I am just amazed by it. I am amazed by that we are this little tiny planet in this big giant universe. And I stop and I smell the roses. And I look at people in the drive-thru even. Somebody hands me something and they're sort of rude. I look at them, I look at their face and I tell them, you know, have a great day. And they look at me like, oh, thank you. You know, because nobody says that. People are rude to the drive-thru people. People are rude to the people in the stores and everything. So I stop and I try to look at their face and I tell them to have a great day. And, you know, how's your day been going? And they like, oh, well, you know, come to think of it, my day's been pretty crappy, but thanks for asking. And it just brightens people's spirit to be talked to like they're a human being. I hope that makes sense. So I think I'm very personable. I try to be very personable. And I know that that's not hard. Not everybody can do that because some people are terribly shy. But I was terribly shy. As a child, like for Christmas, I've told this story before. We wouldn't see my dad's side of the family, his big, huge side of the family very often. We'd see him a couple times a year. And at Christmas, on Christmas Eve, there was a big party. And we would get to that big party. And my brother, you know, would be off with the cousins. And my sister and I would sit on my dad's lap, one on each leg. And we were so horribly shy. It took us hours and hours. It felt like, I mean, maybe it wasn't, but it took us a long time to go and talk to the cousins. And they would even try to come over and encourage, come on, let's play. And it took a long time to do that. And then by the time we would do that, then it was time to go home. And we would like, oh, we want to go home. We want to play because we love our cousins. So I had to really break out of that shyness. And it just took years and years and years. And when I went to high school, I went to away from my area to a different area. I went to an all-girls school. And I had to make friends or not have any friends. So I had to be somewhat outgoing. So that's what I do. And if that makes me a beautiful and lovely person, thank you very much. I do try to be kind to everybody and I do try to see their situations. I just don't want to be negative. And I notice on, you know, some of my videos, like when I'm talking about Boxycharm and I'm getting crabby, I'm like, I don't like being crabby, but I try to tell you all it's happening. So, thank you so much, Elvia, for your very, very kind words. And for all of y'all are so beautiful and kind to me every day. And it means so much to me. And I'm very blessed. Sometimes I do see the thumbs down on my videos and I can't help that. I don't know who's doing that. If it makes them happy to be ugly to me, whatever, that doesn't bother me. And I haven't really had anybody on my videos be ugly to me. I have on another video, but that got all deleted. Thank goodness. And, just, you know, there are gremlins on YouTube and there's gremlins in our life every day. But a lot of times when people, now sometimes people just want to be mean and ugly and they can do it easily on YouTube and on Facebook and other places because they're behind the camera. But out in life, if someone is really mean and ugly, it could be that they're really having a bad day or they feel really sickly or they have someone in their family that's sick and, they just need some kindness from us. So anyway, I'm going to end this here. That was the end of my questions. And like I said, if you have any more questions for me, go ahead and ask. And I love y'all so much and really, truly count your blessings. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Bye-bye.